you, Azula. I do.
The lessons from our parents reverberate through time, through the decades of our lives.
Why are you wasting my time with this pump?
You will learn respect.
Some people are built by their circumstances. Some people take the bricks of their circumstances and build something else.
Trust is for fools. Fear is the only reliable way.
What is wrong with that child?
Your course will never bring you happiness if it's somebody else's course. It's not what you're actually choosing, what you're actually wanting.
Who are you? And what do you want?
This show is a friggin' masterpiece. We're doing a live episode, July 30th through August 1st in the Pacific Northwest, and August 6th through 8th in the Upper Midwest. There will be a Q&A, there will be merch, there will be VIP tickets where you get to meet and greet us. Tickets on sale. Come see us because we want to see you. You specifically, Jeff.
Hello and welcome to Cinema Therapy. I'm Jonathan Decker, licensed therapist. This is
Alan Seawright, a professional filmmaker who is an airbender. I'm actually a waterbender, probably.
Today we're going to be doing some family therapy on the Fire Nation family from Avatar: The Last Airbender. We're going to be looking at Ozai, the Fire Lord, his wife Ursa, his daughter Azula, son Zuko, and the benevolent Uncle Iroh. Looking at family dynamics, what advice I would give, what's healthy, what's FUBAR.
It's all healthy and great. Everyone wins.
No.
Oh.
Rise and fight, Prince Zuko.
I won't fight you.
You will learn respect, and suffering will be your teacher. I looked away.
Azula didn't though, yikes.
I always thought that Prince Zuko was in a training accident.
It was no accident. After the duel, the Fire Lord said that by refusing to fight, Zuko had shown shameful weakness. As punishment, he was banished and sent to capture the Avatar. Only then could he return with his honor.
Okay.
So,
This obviously isn't a good thing that has happened.
Correct.
A father burning his son alive in front of an audience.
Bring wood and oil.
This all comes down to Ozai. Why did he have children in the first place other than, biological urges?
he seems to have, from the jump, hated them.
Well, especially Zuko. Azula was able to earn his love, but it all comes down to utility.
Yeah.
It's not about a meaningful connection. It's not about bringing a child into the world, giving them the tools they need to survive and thrive, and sending them out to live their lives and supporting them in who they choose to be. It's all about how do I maintain my grip of power, and how do I build up my own name and own legacy. And a lot of parents are like this in real life, not so much maintaining their grip on power, but to some extent, yes, but more just how can I use these children to be an extension of myself, my dreams, my aspirations, my accomplishments. A lot of abusive parents use I'm trying to toughen them up as an excuse or as a validation or a reason for their abusive behavior. What you get when you take love out of the equation and support out of the equation and honor of free will out of the equation is you get trauma. And you get characters like Zuko who are so driven by self-loathing and a need to prove themselves that they become the type of monsters that they were abused by and cause more pain, and it just keeps spreading and spreading and spreading.
So let me pose this to you then. Clinically,
Yeah.
you have a client who lit his son on fire to toughen him up.
Yeah.
Clinically, what do you do at that point?
Starting with Zuko, we go deep into trauma recovery.
Sure.
We go deep into, first of all, the recognition that his father's behavior is because his father has no character.
Right.
But psychologically, we go into separating this feeling of worthlessness, this feeling of I'm weak, this feeling of I needed to be purged or toughened up, separating that and saying, no, this is the opinion of an abusive person.
Right.
It's not something to put stock in, and give Zuko a place where he is loved and belonged. And the fact is, Iroh gives that to him the whole time.
Yeah.
But also, even with Iroh being an amazing uncle, Zuko's trauma runs so deep and his need to prove himself runs so deep that it takes time to undo that.
It takes him years of being around the greatest person in all of fiction.
Yeah. Yep. And then with Ozai,
I mean, jail time.
yeah, jail time, and honestly, I'm gonna go hands off on that one. Sometimes you have different therapists at different junctures. I would have him see someone who specializes in psychopathy as well as in criminal psychology to get him ready for family therapy, because I can't work with him like this.
Right.
You know, Zuko's kind of a tall order emotionally. A lot of stress, a lot of anxiety, a lot of people pleasing, a lot of trauma. And it's manifesting in his body. Like, he's always tense. He's always ready to explode. I can definitely relate to this. I mean, I'm 45 years old. I have lived through some stuff. And I have felt all of these at separate times. Maybe not all of them at once, like this poor kid.
And you have fire shooting out of your fingertips randomly?
No, in my case, it was tension in the shoulders.
Oh, sure.
And I would get migraines and pounding headaches.
That makes sense.
Because of all the stress and all the strain. And I had a hard time sleeping because if life isn't going right and you don't feel like you have the solutions, that's when my mind does this nonstop.
Sure.
And so finding a way forward was necessary for me to just rest and for my body to be at rest.
Sounds like you could have used some therapy.
I actually did get therapy. It's benefited me through my hardest times, through our most difficult challenges. It helped me to find that equilibrium again so that I could be at peace.
Today's sponsor, BetterHelp, makes starting therapy easier.
Just take the quiz and get matched with a licensed therapist quickly.
And if the therapist you're matched with isn't the right fit right away, you can switch therapists at any time for no extra cost.
Click the link in the description or go to betterhelp.com/cinematherapy to get 10% off your first month of therapy.
By the way, Uncle's coming home.
Does that mean we won the war?
No. It means Uncle's a quitter and a loser.
What are you talking about? Uncle's not a quitter.
Oh, yes, he is. He found out his son died and he just fell apart. A real general would stay and burn Ba Sing Se to the ground, not lose the battle and come home crying.
How do you know what he should do? He's probably just sad his only kid is gone. Forever.
Your father has requested
Also,
an
that's your
audience with
cousin.
Fire Lord Azulan. Best clothes. Hurry up.
Fire Lord Azulan. Can't you just call him grandfather? He's not exactly the powerful Fire Lord he used to be. Someone will probably end up taking his place soon.
Young lady, not another word. What is wrong with that child?
She's a sociopath.
You've met her dad. You know what's wrong with her.
Yeah, and that does beg the question, how much of it is nature and how much is nurture?
Yeah.
You know, was Azula born like this? Or was she more like Zuko, and then how she responded to her dad? Because Zuko responded to his father by becoming more like his mother, becoming more compassionate, more sensitive. You see here, like, he has sympathy for Iroh.
Yeah.
And Azula is just judgment. There's no compassion because, like her father, she values strength.
Well, and the whole rest of the show is Zuko trying to man up and get rid of the compassion and the care that he just naturally feels for people, right? And that has been part of his mother's training. And he's trying to tamp that out, and he can't.
Yeah.
One of my favorite tropes in all of storytelling, bad boy with a heart of gold, who really, really wants to be a bad boy and just can't make himself do it.
Yeah.
Your Han Solos, your, you know, that.
You're Malcolm Reynolds, and yeah, exactly. Ursa's doing two different approaches here, but it's all... This is one of the reasons why I love family therapy. It's all feedback loops. It's not just Ursa treating Azula different. It's Azula acting different, eliciting a different response from her mother, and how that continues to feed into how Azula shows up and how Ursa shows up.
My own mother thought I was a monster. She was right, of course, but it still hurt.
The beauty of family therapy is interrupting those patterns.
Right.
Is interrupting those feedback loops and suggesting changes for how to approach this differently.
For both people.
For both people.
At the same time, yeah.
In the case of Azula, the work would be challenging the rigid, dogmatic adherence to her dad's philosophies and encouraging curiosity about what her mother brings to the table and what balances that out. And when it comes to Zuko, yeah, I mean, honestly, a thicker skin would do him well around his father. That he can still maintain that inner sense of humanity while dealing with a really difficult person and not falling apart. And honestly, it's hard to do as an adult, even more so as a child. So I don't fault anybody here, but that is the work that I would be doing with Ursa. Any parent will tell you, you don't parent all your children the exact same way.
I mean, not if you want them to turn out remotely good.
At the same time, your differences in approach are based on your observations of the needs of the child and their personalities and their values. What I would encourage Ursa to do is to get Azula more involved in how she's parented.
Right.
What do you need from me, daughter? How can I be here for you more instead of just what's wrong with that girl? Which is a valid question.
It is for sure.
I can't explain it, but she's slipping.
And she's got an uphill battle with Ozai being the dad. Like every good thing that Ursa does, he threatens to undo just by being him.
Right.
Again, jail plus new dad. Or no dad.
Uncle.
You'll never catch up.
I'd like to demonstrate what I've been learning.
Oh. I love the detail on the smile and the frown. I'm just laughing at the filmmaking there. Grandpa's not impressed.
I failed.
No, I loved watching you. That's who you are, Zuko. Someone who keeps fighting even though it's hard.
Prince Ozai, why are you wasting my time with this pomp? Just tell me what you want. Everyone else go.
Again, you only have value if you bring to the table what we value.
Yeah, why are you wasting my time with my grandchildren?
Mm-hmm.
What a great dude.
Therapy work with Grandpa and with Dad is learning to value relationships, not just for what they bring strategically to, the war room, as it were.
Yeah.
And that's an uphill battle. It's hard to get people to rewire their values against their will, especially in the case of sociopaths like this, where they don't really care about people suffering, they don't really care about people's feelings, they don't really care about people. Once we start to get into this sort of stuff, this extreme violent personality disorder type stuff, that's where I bring in a specialist. This is what's known as case management, because sometimes you need a team. It takes a village.
Yeah.
And so I would oversee the family therapy side. I know we have quite a few psychologists and other therapists who watch the show. This is where I'm actually going to humbly ask for your feedback. What would you do with this? I want to know from you. I do adore the unconditional love that Ursa gives to Zuko, especially because she knows how hard everybody else is being on him.
Yep.
This is something you see a lot in families where people try to counterweight each other. She sees how harsh Ozai and Azula are being on Zuko, so she's extra kind to him. She's extra mindful towards him so that he feels loved and seen and welcome and appreciated. But when they see her doing that, they see that as she's continuing to soften him up. She's continuing to baby him, and so they go even harder. And the harder they go, the further she goes out here. And this is how we get polarization in family dynamics.
Yeah.
So some of the family work that I would do here, with the support of a psychologist working on all of this other stuff, some of the family work I would do here is, how can we help Ursa to be a little tougher, still loving, still nurturing, but a little tougher on Zuko? And how do we get the rest of the family to be a little softer so they don't feel like they're just reacting to each other and pulling in opposite directions, pulling this kid apart?
Or a lot softer.
Or a lot. Yeah, true. A
lot.
Yeah, fair.
If you like this, like, subscribe, hit the bell. You'll get all the notifications every time we drop an episode, and you'll never miss one. Which, why would you miss this?
I got you, Dad!
My beloved Luten, I will see you again.
Uncle, you were unconscious. Azula did this to you. It was a surprise attack.
Somehow, that's not so surprising.
I hope I made it the way you like it.
The show.
Good.
It goes so big.
Bracing.
Bracing?
So, Uncle, I've been thinking. It's only a matter of time before I run into Azula again. I'm going to need to know more advanced firebending if I want to stand a chance against her. I know what you're going to say. She's my sister and I should be trying to get along with her.
No, she's crazy and she needs to go down. It's time to resume your training.
So Iroh remembers his son. Great love, fondness, compassion. I love the juxtaposition here of that moment with she's crazy and she needs to go down.
Yes.
Because it shows the necessity to accurately assess the situation. When is it time for love and tenderness and grieving? And when is it time for consequences? Because as important as it is to be loving and compassionate, including to people who are vicious, like sometimes people who need love the most ask for it in the most unloving ways.
Sure.
Azula needs love.
Oh, absolutely.
At the same time, first and foremost, Iroh has to protect the rest of the family.
Yeah.
He has to protect Zuko and himself and just everybody else in this orbit.
Well, and frankly, the Azula that we see in the show must be defeated.
Yeah.
Like, that's not to say that there couldn't be an Azula that emerges from that who's hit rock bottom, bounced,
Yeah.
and is like, oh, maybe I should be a good person now.
But unless she's defeated, she's never
going to get there unless you take everything away from her, because she's demonstrated that, like, she will not.
Well, and I think of a lot of times in families where there is an abusive parent or an abusive sibling, we get the priorities out of order. So we think, well, this person is still a member of our family, so they deserve love and we should protect them and help them out. But often at the expense of the victims.
Right.
Where the victims come second to protecting the family, protecting this individual, instead of, no, they need to go down. Like, so for example, if I have a child who is abusing another child, the first child may need to go to like a youth detention facility.
Sure.
To protect this child and for this one to learn the consequences of those actions. I don't stop loving them.
Right.
I go visit. I continue to reach out to them in affection and let them know that they are wanted and part of the family. But they can't come back while all this is going on.
Yeah, loving someone does not absolve them of consequences.
Yes. And everything we know about Iroh says, I mean, as much as this is a fist pumping, yeah, even Iroh says she's crazy and needs to go down. You know Iroh still loves her.
Oh, of course.
You know Iroh still wants her to reform, still wants good things for her, but it's all about priorities. And the number one priority is to protect the innocent. You have to put that first and let the other pieces fall into line where they go.
This is exactly what happened when you captured the Avatar at the North Pole. You had him, and then you had nowhere to go.
I would have figured something out.
No! If his friends hadn't found you, you would have frozen to death.
I know my own destiny, Uncle.
Is it your own destiny? Or is it a destiny someone else has tried to force on you?
Oh.
Stop it, Uncle. I have to do this.
I'm begging you, Prince Zuko. It's time for you to look inward and begin asking yourself the big questions. Who are you? And what do you want?
Oh, poor Appa.
That's your takeaway from this
No,
scene.
but it is the last shot. Is Appa all chained up?
And he's a big fluffy guy.
He's a big fluffy guy. Someone set him free.
I can handle you by myself.
Iroh, frequently gentle,
Yep.
frequently calm, reassuring. Here, a bit more tough love.
Yeah.
A bit more aggressive with it, but strategically so. Because calm isn't working.
Right.
Cool and gentle isn't working.
He's been trying that for 1.5 seasons at this point.
Right. Zuko needs someone to forcefully, aggressively, but still lovingly hold a mirror up and say, you're pursuing a course that will never bring you happiness because it's somebody else's course. It's not what you're actually choosing, what you're actually wanting.
Right.
Sometimes our loved ones need a bit more sharpness, a bit more forcefulness. But if you ever take that route, it's important first to check yourself and say, am I doing this because I'm angry or I want revenge or I'm vindictive or I want to lash out? Like, what are my motivations? You have to be careful when deploying this because the aggression of your tone may be what people respond to more than what you're saying.
Yeah.
I think Iroh has accurately judged that in the case of Zuko, the tone and the volume that he's using are going to actually penetrate.
Yes.
But what you would do with one person could make another person wilt like a flower. So you have 100%. To be,
You have to know what you're doing.
We've got so much Avatar goodness coming for you right here in this playlist of our Avatar episodes, including an entire ep about Iroh.
One of our most popular episodes, because he's the greatest.
Oh, I love Season 3 Azula as she, goes mad. Or even more mad.
All right, Hare. It's time to face your doom.
What a shame. You always had such beautiful hair.
What are you doing here?
I didn't want to miss my own daughter's
It's so funny and chilling, which is a tough balance to strike, right?
I think you're confused. All your life you've used fear to control people, like your friends May and Ty Lee.
Well, what choice do I have? Trust is for fools. Fear is the only reliable way. Even you fear me.
No, I love you, Azula. I do.
Dude, the music.
so good. And the metaphor here of she didn't want to see inside herself, so she breaks the mirror.
Yeah.
Right? Pretty obvious, but also, it's so good. The thing that has always really intrigued me about this scene is this is her internal monologue, personified by her mother.
Mm-hmm.
And her mom says, I love you.
Yeah.
She hasn't killed that part of her compassion and sympathy yet, right? It's in there.
Yeah.
It's just not, she won't ever give it a voice. It's so interesting.
Well, and I think she needs to believe that her mom didn't love her. She needs to believe in a world without trust. She needs to believe in just this cutthroat ideology because it's how she's built her life, right? She's built her life on this. So she suppresses that the lessons from her mother, the example of her mother, but deep down she knows that she was loved.
Well, and I think that's what's driving her psychotic, right?
Yeah.
Is this push and pull of this is what I need to believe in order to have my worldview make sense, but this is what I actually know to be true.
Yeah.
And they don't match up.
Yeah.
And it's just ripping her apart.
That cognitive dissonance is so extreme. And, you can look at this a couple ways. I don't know if the Avatar universe has Force ghosts.
From a certain point of view.
Probably more of an internal manifestation or subconscious projection.
Sure.
But it still speaks to a truth, which is, I know my mother loved me. Yep. I know that at least with one person I was safe, I belonged, and I didn't have to use fear to earn it. And that there was genuine trust there. The lessons from our parents reverberate through time, through the decades of our lives. And as we grow older, we can deconstruct and recontextualize them.
Sure.
We can challenge them, but they're always there with us.
Yeah.
And every person is a result of their upbringing, not in a causal sense, not how you were raised is how you are, but every person decides either to continue with what they received or in response to do something different.
Some people are built by their circumstances. Some people take the bricks of their circumstances and build something else.
Right.
But either way, the circumstances are in there.
And in her case, what she built, the something else she built, was not as supportive as the original.
Correct.
And the only way for her to get it back is to listen to that inner voice, the voice of her mom.
Yeah.
Of course, we're gonna
end with Iroh, the goat.
Uncle, I know you must have mixed feelings about seeing me. But I want you to know, I am so sorry, Uncle. I am so sorry and ashamed of what I did. I don't know how I can ever make it up to you, but
So good.
How can you forgive me so easily? I thought you would be furious with me.
I was never angry with you. I was sad
Because I was afraid you lost your way.
I did lose my way.
But you found it again. And you did it by yourself. And I'm so happy you found your way here.
It wasn't that hard, Uncle. You have a pretty strong scent.
Hoppa. Yip yip. Come on, jump up. Good boy.
Oh.
Good boy. Good boy. Hi.
So Dr. Sue Johnson, in her approach emotionally focused therapy, talks a lot about anger and what's underneath. That all anger is actually something vulnerable. Sadness, fear, overwhelm, anxiety, whatever's going on, embarrassment. Anytime we're angry, we're actually something else. What I love about Iroh is he's so far down his personal growth journey that he doesn't like go to anger and then go digging.
Then figure out what it is underneath. He just skips right to the correct emotion.
Yeah, he says, I was never angry, I was sad. Though I would say, based on what we know about Iroh, you go back a couple decades, he would have started at angry.
Oh, 100%.
And had to work through and figure out, but now he's just gone straight to, and when we express the vulnerable emotion, that brings people close. When he says, I was sad because I thought that you had lost your way.
Yeah.
Another thing I love about Iroh in the scene, starting with Zuko's apology, how sincere it is, the accountability, the perspective taking, all of it's beautiful. The reason Iroh forgives so quickly is because the guilt already did what it was there to do.
Right.
Zuko has made the change, so there's no sense belaboring it, holding on to it, or feeding Zuko more of it.
Sure.
Once he sees that Zuko has changed, he says, I'm sorry, he just grabs him and pulls him in, because at this point, what Zuko needs is more love.
Yeah.
He needs more love to help heal all of this pain and hurt and anger that he's been carrying around inside of him. It is a powerful skill to be humble enough to drop your hurt, your disappointment, especially when somebody is contrite and willing to change. Sometimes it's like, well, I'm still mad at you, but I appreciate you saying I'm sorry. And look, that can be natural. It can take time to let go of those feelings.
Of course.
But to say to yourself, okay, it's time for me to let go. The person's already made the change. I don't need to hold on to this anymore either. It's such a great scene.
To your point about it's easy to drop that, Iroh has already forgiven him. Before this scene even started, he basically pre-forgave him as it was happening. Like, he knew, oh, okay, this is part of Zuko's journey that he has to go through, and I'm going to forgive him for that. What I love about this scene, though, is that, I mean, I love everything about this scene. The music is great. The blocking is incredible. Having Iroh turned away and not paying attention, it lets the tension build up for Zuko, and it lets the tension build up for the audience. And I love that that is also a character beat for Iroh.
Yeah.
Because Iroh is letting Zuko build himself up to say the honest thing, to get everything out and off of his chest, which he hasn't done before.
Yeah.
He's letting him do all of the work that he has to do before he pulls him in and gives him a hug. He could have cut him off at any point. Hey, I already forgave you. But that doesn't give Zuko enough opportunity to be 100% full of integrity. And Iroh knows that. So and it's even better, he stays turned away because he knows the second he turns around, he's going to want to hug his nephew and he's going to start crying. Just like I'm doing right now, because this show is a freaking masterpiece.
Yeah.
And everything about it is so calculated and so spot on perfect. Even when he turns around and pulls him in for the hug, we get the comedy moment because Avatar can never let anything just be one thing. There always has to be some silly joke. And they get the silly joke and then immediately we're back to crying again. It's, the show is so good.
And to my point about accountability and how much I love accountability, it's not just for the relationship and it's not just to heal the rift between you and another person. It's also for yourself. You can look yourself in the eye and you can trust yourself to act with honesty and integrity in the future if you take accountability now. Iroh knows that Zuko needs that.
Yep.
Damn, what a show, guys.
So good.
So until next time.
Why am I so bad at being good?
No, she's crazy and she has to go down. And watch
movies.
Avatar.
Yeah, watch Avatar.
Yeah.
Just watch it on repeat.
Shout out and thank you to our patrons over on Patreon who get special extended director's cuts as well as feature film directed by this guy. Folks on Patreon whose names are like these names.
Sean Engelgau.
Sama Lin.
Siren.
Jay Mason.
And Dr. Xerox.
We love you, patrons. Thank you.